Welcome to Live with Terry Paranych. I'm your host, Michael Kryton, along with my very special host, Mr. Terry Paranych, one of the top 5 real estate agents in the world and worldwide. And this is what this program is going to be about, isn't it, Terry? How you're able to get there with a system and a process that you have developed over many, many years. And the program is going to be taking a look at all kinds of aspects around what it takes to be a successful real estate agent. And even if you aren't a real estate agent, there's an awful lot you can learn just by listening to what Terry Paranych has to say. As a matter of fact, let's lead into that. The key thing that you would say in terms of the success of your career, if you could pin it down, I know it's hard to, but if you pin it down to one thing, what is it?
Well, Mike, it all comes down to what is a real estate agent's point of difference? What makes you different? And, you know, it's very interesting. Over the years, I've traveled across North America doing real estate seminars and different workshops and boot camps. And I meet wonderful, wonderful people who've been in the business for 5, 10, 15, 20, even 25 years. And I always ask them the same question: what's your USP or unique selling proposition? What makes you different? Mm-hmm. And a lot of them say, well, I give good service. I'm nice to my clients. I drive a nice car, you know. And it's very interesting. And I have to then break into about a 90-minute explanation on what unique selling propositions are and unique selling differences are. So when I started very early in my career, you know, almost 20 years ago, you know, I dressed up in a Superman outfit and I got up on the roof and, you know, I read all kinds of books on guerrilla marketing and away I went. And I took pictures and we did some press releases and I had the media come out and here's this guy jumping up or jumping on a roof with Remax signs and a Superman outfit. And I named myself Terry Superman Paranych. And the media attention that I got was amazing. So I set myself apart. Now, granted, that was in the early 90s where image advertising was, you know, very prominent and dominant. But over the years, I've built many, many different brands and marketing systems within my entire system that really makes me different. And that's why the customer chooses me first every time.
And we're going to dig down into that. And if you're a real estate agent that's watching, what you're going to hear on this program, as well as other episodes of Live with Terry Paranych, is going to drill down into many of the incredible presentations that Terry has given in North America and taken real estate agents literally from one level to another. And by the way, if you're watching, you can drop down to the chat room, the chat forum just below your viewing screen. And by all means, just put a username in there. There's no password required, and all you have to do is ask some questions or make some comments, and we'll be happy to take a look at those, and it's a chance for you to interact with the program. Let's maybe start off. It's almost the kind of thing one can say is that, Terry, if you wanted to guarantee that you were going to fail, what would you have to do to make sure that you absolutely failed? And it comes down to the question, what is the biggest mistake of new realtors? When they start off, what kind of mistakes do they make? Maybe mistakes that you made that you very quickly got
Listen to their manager. That's the biggest mistake. No, you know, it's very interesting. You know, a lot of it came down to when I started in the business, I had an unshakable belief system. And, you know, when I walked around the office, you know, I was the new rookie, and I started asking everybody for help. And they would say the same thing. You know, you need to do what I did. Go knock on doors or make cold calls. And, you know, that's the biggest thing you don't want to do, in my opinion. You know,
and why is that? Why is that?
Well, I mean, let's be frank. In today's world, with the internet and technology and all the different, you know, personal data devices and all the different things that people can use to generate information, are you really going to choose somebody to represent your most valuable asset who knocks on your door? And, you know, in most cases, the answer is no. Now, there's been some people over the years, and there are still actually real estate trainers out there, believe it or not, that are teaching cold calling and door knocking to make a living. But that is, you know, I have to share with you a story many, many years ago. I think it was about first 6 months in the business, there was a fellow in town, and he taught a one-day seminar on door knocking. And at the end of the day, he had yellow buses come pick us up, and we all had headsets, and we'd walk up, you know, to a door, and we'd say, you know, hi, my name is Terry Paranych. Are you planning on buying or selling a home in the near future? This was the kind of script that he taught us. Well, you know, so him, another gal and I, on headsets, everybody's in the bus. We go in, and we're all kind of mic'd up so everybody in the bus can hear. So we go and we knock on this door, and a guy with no shirt on, hairiest guy I've ever seen, spaghetti all over the place. When I said that, he basically told me to get the, off his, doorstep. So I associated so much pain to that experience. I said, I'm never going to do that again. So that's when I really decided that I'm going to become an area expert and become the brand of choice in an area. So when people thought of real estate, they were going to call me.
Well, and one of the reasons you are one of the top 5 real estate agents in the world and worldwide, in fact, more often than not, number 1, and possibly every now and then 2 and 3. Maybe you took a vacation on that particular week. I don't know. Now, let's look at the flip side of the coin. By the way, you're watching Live with Terry Paranych, and this is a show for real estate agents, but tell all your financial institution friends and anyone who's selling insurance. I'm sure they could learn an awful lot by listening to Terry. Okay, we talk about the big mistakes of a new realtor. Now, what are some of the mistakes that seasoned realtors will make?
Well, simply complacency. And what happens is, and I saw it early in my career, I would say my second and third year, all of a sudden I had local managers and brokers in the area asking me to come and speak at their office. And, it was very frustrating for a lot of these seasoned veterans, because what happens is they get complacent and they think, I'm making my $200,000 or $150,000 a year, and I don't have to do anything. And basically what happens is they, in almost most cases with seasoned or even younger real estate agents, most of them quit too soon. They'll start to do something. They'll develop a marketing system. They'll implement the marketing system. And what they do is they listen to the dream killers around them. In other words, the other real estate agents in the office that say, oh, don't do that. I tried it. It didn't work. But usually with the seasoned veteran is they just kind of get complacent and they do what they always did, so they get what they always got. But what's happened now, Michael, is you have all these young lions, and I believe I was a young lion then, a little older now, that are coming into the business and utilizing the internet, technology. They're gaining brand equity immediately. And what happens is all of a sudden, the consumer goes, I'm going to call that Terry Paranych guy, not call kind of the, I hate to say this, but that old dog that's been around for a long time. Let's call that person that's thinking out of the box. And that's what happens. So for a lot of the seasoned realtors, and it's not too late for you, you just have to have an open mind. Because you know what? There are so many systems, great marketing systems, some that we have, where we've seen, people come to our boot camps and literally within 6 months have doubled their income implementing one of our systems.
Now, some of the information you're getting today is also available on DVD. And Evan, if you would bring up that slate for us, you can have Terry Paranych in your home at your beck and call with Terry Paranych Live. It is a power pack 2 DVD set for just $199. Well worth it, because it could make you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, if you follow what Terry has to say. Just be sure to ask for your copy by sending your request to the email address that is on your screen. $199, the 2 DVD set of Terry Live. And
now, Mike, I do not mean to interrupt, but that 2 DVD set, that is a live boot camp, basically almost 19 hours of footage, broken down each one of my systems over 2 days, and it's very simple. They can just go forward to the systems. Everything is labeled for them, and we've had several people that have ordered this, and they just said, wow. I can't believe there's so much information. And that boot camp, by the way, people would pay up to $5,000 to attend those events. So my seminar coordinator and I, we decided that we wanted to allow this information to be global, so everybody can see it. We really want to help shape real estate careers worldwide.
And I know I've heard some great reports of people who, by the end of those sessions, are literally motivated and have gone on to do some very successful things with their careers in terms of changing what they were doing. Let's talk about that. We've got a few minutes left in the program. Where do you start? You're a young real estate agent. You're out there. You've got your basic training. You've got your license. Maybe you have some background. As a matter of fact, today, there are more and more agents that are beginning their careers, in fact, later in life. You started when you were very young, but there are many that you work with who started much later in life. But the bottom line is, where do you start? So
well, I mean, Mike, for me, it's very simple. I created a bunch of proven, duplicatable systems, but how do they become proven? How do they become duplicatable? Well, the first thing is again, early in my career, I read a lot of books on flyers. So how do I get people to know that I'm number one in the real estate business at a low cost because I really didn't have any money? And how do I get them to identify with me? So, of course, at the time, I did the Terry Superman Paranych thing because Superman is a positive guy. So what I did is I started a flyer program, and I started sending out 50,000 flyers a month. I was brand new in the business. And my first month in the business, I made $18,000. So now here I am, an early 20s kid, $18,000. It was unheard of. Where all my friends that I went to school with were basically getting jobs, and they're still in that same job. Now, if they're happy and they're my buddies, then it's all good. But my point was when I looked around, nobody was really sending out that many flyers. There was the odd realtor here, the odd realtor there. Well, all of a sudden, my phone was ringing on the hook. Yes, I'd like a free home evaluation. And in future episodes, we're going to talk about how to become the brand of choice, how to dominate an area with a direct mail program, or simply called a flyer program. And it was the greatest thing that I ever did. And as a matter of fact, today I send out 238,000 flyers every month, and my phone rings off the hook.
It's really funny because there was a period of years where I hadn't seen you. I did have the chance to work with you when you were young, and then I kind of watched all this happen. And the funny thing is, you were a part of my life for the last 25 years. I've seen you everywhere, and whenever I've asked anyone, I say Terry Paranych, they go, "Oh yeah, that real estate guy."
Well, what happens when you create true brand equity, what you're doing is you're creating relationships with people, and they think that they know you. Yes. And what happens is when I walk in the door, or one of my team members walks in the door, people are like, "Oh, we feel we've known you for years." And I even have had flyers, Mike. People have saved them over the years, and there's a stack of them on the table. And I look at my old hairdos, and we get a good kick out of it.
Mullet, the famous
mullet, and then I think I had the skateboard do it at one time, and see, I've matured since then. But you really create relationships because you know what? You become what's called the area expert. And one of the things I talk about in our boot camps and our seminars is how to become that true area specialist or area expert. And if you don't become that, you're not going to have any brand equity or market share in that area. And it's a very simple program. You don't have to work 238,000 homes. I have real estate agents that have come to our events, and I've simply showed them how to become the brand of choice in an area of 2,500 homes, 5,000 homes, and it's worked amazing for them, and it's changed their lives.
Well, we're about to wrap up. This is Live with Terry Paranych. Let's take one more look at that offer. You can have Terry Paranych in your home on a 2-DVD set, which is, as you said, boiled down from 18 hours or more of interaction during that incredible boot camp that you put on, and you can order it at the email address that you see on your screen. It's just $199, which is an absolute steal, considering that otherwise, if you can't get out to a boot camp, this would be perhaps the next best way that you can find out what it will take to become the kind of success that Terry Paranych has become. I mean, what an incredible accomplishment, being a top 5 real estate agent in the world worldwide. But not just doing that, sustaining that. One last thought before we go.
Well, I'm just going to say to people, if what we're saying interests you, give us a call, send us a message. We'd love to help you. If you're somebody out there that is really thinking of making a change, this is the change you need to make.
Live with Terry Paranych. Be sure to join us every week right here on Fuse Logic TV. My guest, of course, and co-host Terry Paranych. I'm Michael Kryton.